What is up, my people? Welcome back to the channel for another album review. I'm your boy Nassim the Dream. If you're new to the channel, go right on ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell as well to always keep notified on my newest content. And today I will be reviewing the new Charli XCX record, Crash. This is the newest installment from alternative pop English singer-songwriter Charli XCX. This is following what is indeed my personal favorite album from Charli XCX, her lockdown album, How I'm Feeling Now. To me, this album held some of the most endearing takes on her new hyperpop outfit that she adopted initially in her 2019 pop record Charli. It's believed that this is the breakthrough record that really showcased Charli's talent in her songwriting and just how versatile she really is into the pop genre. All across when it comes to the production fundamentals, truly were met with excellence with these two records, along with the maturity and impactful songwriting from Charli. Countless, and I mean countless tracks with tremendous sound design that just puts that energy right into your face when it comes to putting to the test with electronica. With a handful of songs I can think of from these two records come from Anthems, Gone, Claws, Forever, 1999. Of the teasers with this new record, some felt hit or miss for sure, with some hopeful anticipation that I would feel different in context with the album, and with the other portion that were just straight pop bangers. Kicking off with the title track Crash, already diving into these heavy 80s pop influences, setting into the scene onto this record. The vocal chops just come in hot and spicy in the song, and the keys and guitars roar with 80s pop rock, already leaving a good impression to the start. This particular track just sets the mood with all the themes that we hear referenced all across this album when it comes to power, sex, and self-destruction. And an interesting fact, from Charli's words specifically, this track was actually heavily inspired from the legendary pop star Janet Jackson. The thing that I really like about this record so far is that it doesn't limit its influences and inspirations that go into 80s pop, with the next track New Shapes diving into synth pop that sounds like a Madonna remake, hitting the listener with some sexy soft synth chords and some helpful performances from Christina the Queens and Carolina Polachek. I remember the first time playing to this teaser, I wasn't exactly impacted with the electrifying feeling that you get from Charli XCX, but the second time around, I do think it's pretty good nonetheless. We then reached the first teaser that was released initially for this new record. The song is called Good Ones. This is just a song to me that just gets better and better each listen. A song that is just so versatile with any daily activity and such. Like, I randomly just let the song play out at the gym, and that deadlift platform turned into a dance floor real quick. And bitch, let me tell you, that shit was over with. The immense production and vocal talent expressed into this dance pop banger is just a hot girl summer experience. I let the good ones go. Constant Repeat happens to be the last song written for this new record. Continues on with that diverse electropop experience with chiming synth arpeggios that really just make you want to run this back once it's done. Hence the title, Constant Repeat. Gotta love the irony right there. Now for the track Beg For You, this song features the most exciting feature in my opinion when it comes to my own taste, the lovely Rina Sawayama. Initially hearing this song, I will admit I was a bit underwhelmed with what the song had to offer, but now in context with the record, I will say it feels much more rewarding. These plucks the second time around just catch way more enthusiasm, with much more appreciation with the vocal chemistry between these pop contemporaries. More and more when I play this song, that chorus just burrows deeper and deeper inside your head every time. With another teaser, Baby, that continues on the stream of electropop dance influences, especially with the notion of this dominant woman mentality. We see the potent hyperpop form of Charli onto the track Lightning, which really takes advantage of the use of organic instrumentals in contrast with the electronic instrumentals, taking the complexity of sound production to its full potential. Though I will admit, to me, this song wasn't as hard-hitting as the rest of the tracks before this one, and it wasn't as punchy either when compared to them. But I do appreciate how she's utilizing the vocal codings and chops into the mix. It reminds me a lot of her single Claws that was on the record How I'm Feeling Now. Every Rule features guest producers A.G. Cook and 10 Tricks Point Never, with the notion of a relation that never ends. But to me, this one is just one of the bumpy points onto the record for me personally. The vocal processing is really good and the production is still solid. There really isn't any flaws on here. I would just say that this song didn't really connect with me as much as the others. Yuck happens to be one of the more hysterical cuts onto the record, where we have Charli telling a story about this boy that's being so romantic and lovey-dovey and maybe a little bit needy towards Charli, when really all she wants is that D. I'm really loving the disco inspirations from the song as well. Every time I hear this type of sound, I always think of San Andreas, every time. The danciest party pop song comes from the track Used to Know Me, that just follows that classic layout that we really recognize from house music. This, to Charli, happens to be her homecoming track in revisiting her old styles of songwriting on her debut True Romance. And it certainly is recognizable, though I will say that I do prefer her new style into pop compared to this form of basic pop music. It certainly can bring the noise and the energy to the party, but it's just not a track I necessarily fancied. Then closing with a track Twice that I think not only ties this record well enough to make not only a cohesive finish, but an ending with a satisfying final push vocally with pretty melodies onto these passages. So to wrap up my thoughts, I definitely enjoy the record for what it is and what it has to offer and how it pays homage to the predecessors from the 80s and how much they inspired Charli to become a pop artist. And what I don't want to do, and I highly do not recommend when you go into this record, I really don't want to get into the comparison game, but based off these two records that I mentioned earlier into this review, I would say that I wasn't left as excited as those other two LPs. I will admit it's mainly due to my favoritism when it comes to new styles of hyperpop music going into production schemes on those records that you really don't see so much on here or modern pop music in general. But Charli makes it very loud and clear that this record is not supposed to be a sequel to those others, bringing on those more influences with the same electronic hyperpop influences, so there's no fault due to so. The thing that I love and hate at the same time with these tracks is just how short they feel at some points, but it's also a benefit that I believe will make it very more beneficial for this record, just making you want to go back to it just because of how infectious these songs can really inflict. But overall, I do greatly appreciate what Charli's doing with fusing this record with all her biggest influences all across 80 pop music. I mean, hearing a little bit of everything all across this record track to track, from dance pop, electro pop, ethro pop, pop rock. It's all here. It doesn't fail at a moment to mimic those influences, and I'm just happy and appreciative to have another new Charli XCX project. And with that, I'm gonna give Charli XCX's Crash a 78%. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, go ahead and like, share, and comment down below. And if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. Down in the description, you'll see all the separate tracklist ratings I have for the album, more videos, and also the links to my social media accounts so you can keep up with me on the daily. Catch you in the next one. Dose.